second day of Sukkos. No, actually, now what's the first day? Sukkos. Tes Zayin Tishrei. Tafshin Zayin Gimel. Hello, good evening. I'm sitting with my father. I want to do a little interview. So you were mentioned to me, and you were born Vav Elul Tafshin Tzadik Vav, right? Where were you born?
Switzerland.
How old were you when you came to America?
After Aufshemenich, I think almost 4.
And you lived all your life in Switzerland before that?
I lived now. My father had a rabbanis in, how do you call it, in Vienna.
He had a shul there?
Yeah.
Never knew that.
He was a shul, or he was one of the rabbanim there. Like
Then he came to, he was there beginning of the Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
39, then they cut off his beard, they told me.
Half a beard, yeah.
Then he went to...
You know when he got out?
No,
Gimel Cheshvan.
Gimel Cheshvan, he got out. Gimel Cheshvan is the yard side of?
The Ruzhana.
He got out, he went to, so it was 1939, so it was tough shin. Then he went to Switzerland.
Yeah. And then my uncle sent this paper, my mother's brother, Harshberg.
Where was he living?
In the Bronx. He was a teacher in Tervadas.
When did he come to America?
He came a long time before.
I remember someone I was told that when you were a child, you were crying, they had to cover up your mouth. Where was that?
In Vienna.
Why?
I don't know, you shouldn't hear the Nazis this.
Uh-huh. Okay, and when your father came to America, so you came, what, about 1940?
Yeah.
He got a job right away?
A few months later.
What was that shul before him?
It was the same shul, but there was people from Vienna who knew my father, and they started the shul, and then they asked him to be the Rav there.
Uh-huh. Where did he live before that?
In the beginning, we lived, when we first came here, by my mother's parents.
Which was where?
In Borough Park, on 13th Avenue, or something like that.
So where did they send you to yeshiva?
I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And then they got their own apartment. And then
Put your hand away from your face, yeah.
And then after that, he got the job, and then he got the apartment, then we moved here.
Then you moved into...
212 Crown Street.
And when did you move?
2B.
212 Crown Street. And then when did you move into 442 Crown Street?
After my grandfather, my mother's father, passed away, Issachak Shavuos Tavshin Tes. So...
Your mother's father?
Yeah.
Shea Harlig?
Yeah, passed away Tavshin Tes.
When did he come over?
He came also over, he heard that there's starting rumbling this, he left right away Switzerland. And he came over earlier, and then we got our own apartment, and then later, once my father got the job here, in the beginning he used to walk from Borough Park to the shul, Shabbosim.
Used to walk over,
Yeah. And later we got apartment 212 Crown Street, apartment 2B, and after my grandfather passed away, my grandmother went to Switzerland to her sons, but she wasn't happy after she was there about a year or two, so she wanted to come back. We had a very small apartment, so my father spoke to my uncles, and they gave the down payment for the house.
He was also in the fundraising business, your father. Like all of us. Okay.
And that's when we bought the house.
So 1949, Tufshin Tess?
No, we bought the house later. We bought the house, Tufshin Yud Aleph, and in the summer. And Lepel, we moved in Parshas Lech Lecha Tufshin Yud Beis.
Now for your bar mitzvah, you went to the... How did you get to Lubavitcher Yeshiva? What made you go there?
How did I get there?
Yeah, what made your father send you to Lubavitcher Yeshiva?
He knew the Rebbe and the Friedrich Rebbe and the Rebbe from Vienna.
Okay. So do you remember, you went to, what was the first year you learned? What did you learn the first time?
Tufshin, your mother, when she found in the office, I started to learn Tufshin Hay.
They found the report cards?
No, a registration card.
So you brought it home to you?
Yeah.
So Tufshin Hay, and where did you, Bedford and Dean?
Yeah, it started.
That's where you started?
Yeah.
So you were 9 years old. What did you learn before Tufshin Hay? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Who were some of your teachers you had that you remember?
Oh, I remember my first teacher was Kolodny, but there wasn't regular classes. We had a little this, a little that.
Wasn't
And
too
he taught, then we had Popak,
Shmuel Isaac?
no, his father,
Yeah.
Popak. And after that we had
Your hand away.
after that we had Lashinsky. He was the 6th grade.
Oh.
Then Pesachovich, he was a big Gera Chassid, the 7th grade.
So a second, 5th grade was...
Popak.
First year was Popak? Which
No, first year was, the first year was, he passed away, Kolodny.
Yeah.
Then we had Popak. Then,
Shmuel Isaac's father.
yeah, then we had Lashinsky.
Yeah.
Then we had Pesachovich.
Yeah.
I forgot who the 8th grade teacher.
Yeah, and then...
Then we had Garfinkel.
Yeah.
Then we had Ushbal.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Costel. Then we had Mantlik. And then
Yeah.
you could come in. And
Yeah.
then I went to 770.
Right, just close the door, please.
What are you doing?
I'm just writing down what he told me. You can come in, but just go in or out. Okay, next. So when was the first time you saw the Frierdiker Rebbe?
The first time I saw the Frierdiker Rebbe, I think was Tafshin Hey or Vav. There was a Zion. No, really there was one year, I think it was Yud Beis Tammuz, and the Frierdiker Rebbe came downstairs to Fabrengi in the shul, and two people, he came in with a wheelchair, and two people helped him. He took up one step, another step, they picked up his feet. You're not allowed to mention these two people, Lieberman and Barry.
Yeah.
And there was 3 chairs. One chair Shak sat, one chair the Rebbe sat, and the Frierdiker Rebbe sat in the middle. But he sat, on the chair was a tube, like he goes swimming, that he couldn't hold his balance, that he shouldn't slip off.
You remember that?
Yeah, that I remember. The windows open between the Zal and the Cheder Sheni, and I was sitting up there a little bit.
Sitting on the window between the...
Yeah. And
you were able to understand the Frierdiker Rebbe because it was hard to understand him.
Yeah, one thing I remember, he said, Heinte de Yontif. That I can't forget.
So it was such nice you were like 9 years old.
Yeah.
Your father took you there?
Yeah, he was sitting with the people.
Oh, okay, next, and then...
And then one year there was a meeting from the Rabbonim by the Frierdiker Rebbe about people were coming and there was no kosher food, You got to make kosher food, you need. There was one store that my mother used to go, sometimes I went with her in the east side, Miller. And he had milk and cheese. And
Crown Heights it wasn't?
No, in those days. And so they said, so the Rebbe said, as the Kashrus and die Sachen darf man lassen für die Ungarische. Wir dürfen tun in der Fotze sein Mayonis and machen Yeshivas and seine Kinder sollen.
So you were there at the meeting?
No. So my father once, he asked Simpson that if I could, when they open up the door, I could see the Frierdiker Rebbe. And then when all the people come out, I could see him again. So I was sitting in the hallway, walking around. So somebody came over to me and said, "You want an apple? You want something to eat?" So I took it. I made a big mistake, and
It was a lady.
yeah. And then after they finished the meeting, my father asked Simpson if he could stay a little. I asked the Rebbe something, the Frierdiker Rebbe. I think my mother wasn't feeling so good or something, so he asked a bracha for her. Then he asked a bracha for me. I should sit and learn, be kind, not take a bus.
Yeah.
And the
Not
Rebbe
take a bus?
No, that was a joke.
Yeah, no. No.
So the Frierdiker Rebbe motioned to tell Simpson to come in, and I came in, and he picked up his satur. I was on this side, and he picked up his tzitze, and then he think I should give it a kiss.
That's when first time you really close to Frierdiker Rebbe?
Yeah.
And next, and You went into your bar mitzvah, Yechidus,
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah,
Where was it?
upstairs by the Frierdiker Rebbe, with my parents.
And what did he say?
A bracha. It was very hard to understand.
Was anyone with him then?
I think Simpsons. I don't know.
I think the Rebbe's Levayo. When did you hear about it?
I heard about it in shul.
father.
Zuchi Posner came to the shul and said that the Frierdiker Rebbe was a vet.
He was a friend of yours? You were a kid then?
We were classmates.
So you remember the Levayo went to the cemetery?
Yeah.
Remember,
There was a big fight there.
what was the
The
fight?
cemetery. There was a custom, maybe still today, that by to put in the cave some earth from Eretz and they wanted to put it in, and the Rebbe said that the Shverge Kento is coming on them. So the daughters were screaming and this, but at the end,
What'd your daughters?
I think both. But at the end, they.
I mean, the Rebbitzin also?
I think so.
You remember that?
I'm kind of screaming. I remember. I didn't understand what's coming up, but my father told me.
You were there?
Yeah. And but at the end they didn't put it in.
So the Rebbe didn't want, but the Rebbe they
They
put
said
it
that the Shver Kento.
So the Rebbe they didn't put it in?
No, I don't think they do it anymore.
We do it here.
Yeah.
That was the first time you remember the Rebbe? Well, the first time you remember you told me is by Yud Beis Thomas Farbrengen.
That's by the Frierdiker.
Yeah.
When did I go in the first time to Yechidut? I think Tufshin Yud Gimel before my Yemaledes.
And what do you remember it?
He gave me a bracha, a slach and learning.
So what happened to all the brachas? I know you never told me. I was sorry. Who psyched you up about the Rebbe, his kashas? Who?
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
When did you start recording your mom?
When did I start writing? I think it's Zion.
But you never gave it out.
No, I've started when they started to work on it.
And what happened?
You know,
And recording, when did you start recording Farbrengens?
Tufshin Yudches.
What made you start?
I wanted to have the tapes. And you can't just say about it.
For who? For who did you make? For
Rabbi Meyer
yourself?
Harlig. Oh, but then I see Chaneach begged me, Manny begged me. Who else does too?
So you used to make copies and send it to them?
Yeah.
Was that the first tapes going to Israel?
After that time when he spoke like Bema before the 6-Day War.
That's Chav Zayin first.
Yeah.
I have a tripod, by the way.
So one book just reminded me, he spoke about it by a bar mitzvah, that I send the tape to Chaneach, somebody went, and that's how they heard the Rebbe Sikha then.
But was anyone else recording then the Farbrengens and Tafshin Zayin?
Yeah, and officially one went for Yale, for Chazara. And,
Who made that tape?
I think in the beginning, Mendel, then Zalman Khanen, I forgot.
Zalman Khan was around Tafshin Yudches?
No, it was Mendel. It was Shochat,
Which Shachar?
the Rav from Toronto, David Shochat.
David Shachar was recording,
Yeah, I think so.
but you got your own tape recorder?
Yeah,
And you used to send it to...
Chaneach, many wolves. I forgot already who else. Maybe somebody.
Yes.
You went into Morocco?
Morocco you attended?
Could be, I don't remember. You have to ask.
They had to have the real one. You still have your tape recorder?
Yeah?
Where is it?
Home, under my desk.
Yeah, so next. When did you start doing the wine? When did that start? How did that start?
It's no good you're doing this.
Tufshin Yuzayin.
Yeah, how did it start?
I don't know who did it before. He didn't want to do it anymore. Said, Meyer, you'll be good in it. Do it.
How was you to do the Lubavitcher?
A little bit is early. So you don't know how you started doing the wine?
No,
Who did it before
I
you?
think David Raskin, label Raskin, David.
So what did they tell you? Start ordering the wine?
Yes, he said that we don't want to do it anymore. It's hard. Meyer, you'll be good in it.
Who gave you the key to the locker?
Who remembers?
That's how you got the locker, or you had it before that?
No, that's how I got it.
Okay.
Like this, I had a locker
Where?
in 770. Got it already.
How many people have keys to the locker today?
Change the locker. Well, what happened in the locker besides then? The big Fabringans, you know?
Yeah,
But Hashem told Fabring there.
How many people farbrengen in the locker?
plenty of people.
Where were they farbrengen though?
Stand there. Very carved.
That was later.
Are there vents there that you...
Who verbring a lot?
Oh.
Mati Ashkenazi in the closet.
He used to farbrengen in the closet. What was the story with the watch? You were able to watch.
Tufsin Yud Beis.
Tufsin Yud Beis. So you're a kid.
Yeah.
Well,
I quote the story all the time.
yeah.
Tufsin Yud Beis, the second day Sukkos. So, like every Yom Tov, there was a verbringen. And the Rebbe asked, Zemetz weiß, wenn die Schkie ist, weil sie öfter da Menschen, was haben nicht gewaschen, was haben sich noch
Tufsin Beis are what? Sukkos?
Yeah, like today.
Yeah.
It will verbrennen. So,
It was a regular yontif.
yeah, Sukkos.
Yeah.
So, he said, man darf öfter weiß, immer zu der Zeit, man soll wissen, die was haben sich nicht gewaschen, sie können sagen, L'chaim.
Yeah.
I didn't know from nothing, nobody did. So I took off my watch.
Did your
from my-
pocket was on your hand?
It was in my hand. I took off the watch from my hand, and I put it down on the Rebbe's table.
This was in the sukkah.
Yeah. Fine, the Rebbe verbrennt.
You looked at the watch, you looked at the time.
Yeah. And after the verbrengen, he benched, then he got up. He said, a Greisin Shekech, aber soll's wissen, a Yontif Tov man nicht kann sagen.
No, you went weiter to the Frierdiker Rebbe.
Later, they came over to me, Rav Shmuel and Simpson. They said, as in Lubavitch, beim Rebbe Rashab, as in gekommen the Balabatim of Simchas Torah, and they were wearing watches, he took it.
Who's Mati?
He took it and he took it away in Matzi Yantiv. They had to redeem it for money for Tamchit Mimen. And the same thing happened in Pasha by the Frierdiker Rebbe.
There you go. So
So
Simpson.
Simpson and this. So I said, I learned all the years in yeshiva. They never told us anything in the yeshiva.
Not to wear watches.
And not to wear a watch on Yom Tov.
Okay. What was the story with the? You see, with the matzah. What year was the matzah that ever told you to go?
Chofs, really chofs.
With the
The
matzah.
story with the matzahs.
Yeah. So one day you got.
One day the Rebbe came back from the oil. Yud Gimel Nissen. He always wanted oil.
You'd give him a listen. Yeah.
Yeah, December. It's not December.
Yeah. It's outside.
Yeah. And he came back. So right after Mincha, he called over Rav Shmuel. And he used to give money for verbrengen. And he used to sell the money. That we bought mashke and cake, and that's at one. Then after that, the Rebbe said, morgen backen doch Matzes, Erev Pesach. Where's the choy of the matzahs? So I told the Rebbe, I'm at Masada gewend the Bäckerei, alle neue Papieren.
Where was the Rebbe standing?
But where he dam Mincha,
Uh-huh.
by the table upstairs. And mit neue Papieren, neue Katschikes, neue Beckens, mit gekasche der
What's
Redel.
Kachikas?
You know,
Valgeholz.
Wagov, mit gekasche the Oiben, mit neue Beckens, mit gekasche der Redel. So he said, aber wer der Choye? So I said, the official Choye was Rabbi Simpson. Aber er doch Rav in Borough Park. Wer der Choye da? So I should take it on my place there. So again I told him what everything we did. So he said, aber fragte, wer der Choye da? So I said, Rabbi Simpson, aber ich hatte gesagt, er ist ein Rav in Borough Park. He said, ich will dir etwas sagen. A Papierl mehr, a Papierl weniger. A Katschike mehr, a Katschike weniger. Aber du weißt, die Iker ist, wer geht stehen beim Ofen. Das ist die wichtigste Sache and nimmt der Chayes of them. So Menschlich was in the back, he heard, he came over and he said he's taking a Chayes.
What year was this?
I don't remember.
Hey, but when they ever told you to bring matzah to the
It was
airport?
only chofs.
What?
Matzah to the airport. What was that?
Hanan.
Oh, that was a Bocher yet. I was my parents went away to a chasna. So when am I going to go home? I was sitting in 770.
But are you doing it?
After
What?
Doing the Rambam or Daf Yomi?
Daf Yomi.
Yeah.
No, I was Gadol learning Shulchan Aruch Hilchos Pesach.
Uh-huh.
I was sitting under the clock. You know what?
Yeah, with the signs that moved.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
took away the original clock.
There's all upstairs.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
not upstairs. And the Rebbe opened up his door and came like part way.
We were there on Skiris.
Nobody was there. It was
Oh.
after Ma'ariv. Everybody went
They
home.
don't stay till everyone went home.
No, in those days. And he called me in.
There was no Bachrim who stayed. I heard there was Bachrim Bechlal. Stayed in some never did ever
Not
was
then.
there.
Yeah, but then there was no Bacham.
There's no one there.
And he motioned to me to come into his room. And I came into his room. He said, "Dosh take the pekel matzah. Sollst nehmen the matzah. It's fallen to it's a airport, Pan Am.
What's your report? Silcha?
It was called Idlewild. It was before Kenny was killed. And dort zukommen zu der angetane Mensch, und das soll zum geben die Matze, fährt in die Far East, und das soll zum sagen, als soll muss dann verstehen, zu wem zu teilen die Matze, und allem im Wünschen, wenn man nicht geben Matze, in meinem Namen Kosher auf Freilichen Pesach, und hat mir gegeben Brief, I should give him,
Mr.
English,
Quali, Prati.
Mr. of Quali.
Ja.
Soll es geben zu einem Mensch, was haltet, hat man Nutzung von dem, und weil von der Kirche, was tut, kann nehmen 2 Matzes, eine für beides Dollar eine Matze. Und sei Poste dort, das heißt, jene Zeit, auf Eastern Park was Yellow Cabs. So I said, hello, ich gehe nehmen ein Taxi. Er hat aufgemacht das Schiff Lot, und er gesagt,
You speak in English,
kostet Geld. Ich gehe nehmen beim Reben Geld, I have a few dollars on me. So I said, Chob, du bist sicher? Chob, du bist sicher? Yeah. So I said, aber du weißt, auf dem Weg zurück darf man echt nehmen ein Taxi? Ist du haben Geld für dem? So I said, yeah. So du bist sicher? Yeah. Aber sei, das folgen dort, und dann das zurückkommen, dass da reinkommen zu mir, übergeben, was geschehen. I went outside, I took a taxi, came to Pan Am, walking around, a guy came over to me.
You didn't know what you were looking for.
No, but I assume, he said, do you have the matzahs from the Rebbe, from the Rabbi Shea?
Well, how was the guy dressed?
He asked you?
Yeah, he was dressed in a business suit with a James Bond.
Oh,
And
He asked you, or you found him?
Yeah, he came to me. And I gave it to him, and I told him exactly what the Rebbe said. He said, when you get back, tell the Rebbe I'm going to take care of everything, and I'm going to give out the letters to her, and this. I said, don't forget that he said you could take 2 matzahs for yourself. I wanted to see which plane he's taking, but it's not like today. But then I walked on the tarmac, and I wanted to see where he's going.
No, the tarmac is.
yeah, I know.
But he probably disappeared. I couldn't find it. I was looking around. I left. Nobody stopped me. I could have gone up to any plane. Nobody stopped me. I went outside, took a taxi, and came back to 770. Kharkov's door, the market's door was open.
I thought everyone was gone.
That was later at night when they came back.
Oh.
And he said, the Rebbe's waiting for you. He asked me if you came back. He says, I clapped on. The Rebbe opened up the door for me. I told him what the Rebbe's, what happened there exactly. So the Rebbe said, you shikeach, du hast getan dein Schliches, ich habe getan mein Schliches, und beide haben getan, und maybe some Schliches.
He didn't give you masa?
No, I've done
How many
that.
days before Pesach was it?
It was in the beginning of this. I don't remember.
The Ika Shechachti to give the money to Shmuel. What's that story?
What?
He forgot to pay Shmuel.
There was once, Shmuel used to sell the Rebbe's chametz.
From the beginning, for Dafshin Yud Aleph,
Yeah, he did Bachaya from the Frierdiker Rebbe.
until... Who took over after Shmuel?
Zalman Shimon,
After Zalman Shimon?
I think.
Karskin.
Karski.
Yeah.
So, so he went and he finished and he went back to his room. I was standing outside near the pushka waiting for Meyer. Suddenly the Rebbe walks out. He had a $50 bill in his hand. He said, "Ike shechachti, ich hab vergessen bezahlen." So I said, wo ist Reb Shmuel? So I said, das ist schon rein bei sich in Cheder, kann ihm gehen rufen. Hat er gesagt, Matriach sein, an alten Rohr, wir können allein zugehen. So he went, knocked on the door, and he gave him the money.
And what happened when you were getting the job with the lulav?
How did you get it? How are you Zoicha?
I don't know. I was standing downstairs.
What happened the night before?
Second day, yeah.
I was standing the
Where's
night.
your tripod, yeah?
I was standing the night.
Small
I was
window.
standing downstairs the second night Yontiv, and
Wait.
somebody comes down and says Charakov is looking for you. So I was afraid, matabrach, and so I didn't hurry to go up. A second guy came, a third guy came. So I went upstairs already. I come upstairs, the Mecca is full with people now after Yontif talking this, and Grona tells me Charakov is in the Gnei Natachn. So I figured he doesn't want to talk because he's all the people in the office. I come.
It was Motzei Yontiv, like tonight?
Right now, like last night.
Yeah.
And the Rebbe's door is open, and he said the Rebbe will live there.
Tavshin Chav Gimel?
Chabez.
You thought you were finished.
I told him finish. I came in, the Rebbe was sitting in
It
his
says,
chair.
it says in the Sefer Tashin Chav Hey.
I don't know what it says. He was sitting with a sefer facing Kingston Avenue.
All around, like he's turning.
No, he's facing this way.
One second, facing Kingston Avenue is with his back to the door. Because, also, unless he was facing Eastern Parkway.
Yeah.
He's facing Eastern Parkway, facing Kingston.
His chair was turned this way.
Towards Eastern Parkway.
No, Eastern Parkway would be this way, behind him.
He was facing behind, so he was turned all around.
Yeah, because you saw those two lamps behind him?
Yeah.
Those were on Yontif, he always used to put up. He was holding a sefer and he was learning.
Yeah.
So he said, das nehmen mein Netzlik in Lulav, das ist verschließen in a Mokum Mishul, a safe place. And it's das Benchen, anfangen Benchen mit Neulem, bei mir in Sukke, an der Sichel kommen, ist zu machen ein Hefsig, in ich will Benchen Netzlik in Lulav, noch müsste Mamschach sein mit Neulem. And then I prepared him what to eat, and that's how it started. The next year, he told me to take it in the big sukkah already. He came, the Rebbe took out his esrog and lulav from his room, and he benched, and he left.
So the first year you did it, and then the Rebbe would come and you would stop and give it back to him.
And then I used to, he never gave it in the hand, you should know, anything. He put it on the table, and I took it from the table.
But the second year you had to wait till the Rebbe benched.
Yeah.
But the first year the Rebbe...
No, I waited till the Rebbe benched, and
Works, does it?
I waited till the Rebbe benched. Then he opened up the door, and he gave it to me, and I took it out. Oh, and then I had...
Hold on. Okay, yeah.
So I wanted to pour the Rebbe something.
One thing, were you already giving the Rebbe food in the sukkah when he gave you the... How did you start with the sukkah? Didn't you collect money for the Rebbe sukkah?
Yeah.
What was the story? How did it start with the sukkah? Where was the Rebbe? What was this?
First he had a Nebi sukkah.
Where? He always had his own sukkah?
Yeah.
Who built it in the beginning?
I don't remember. But then I collected a lot of money. It was almost $8,000.
But the two sukkahs you built for the Rebbe, right?
Yeah. But the other one was cheap.
Yeah, but that newest sukkah, the one that I helped build,
Yeah.
that wasn't the Lamed. When did they put it together?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but when you started with the lulav, it was before the Rebbe.
old sukkah.
It was still the old sukkah.
And I put down the floor, and Groner said the Rebbe won't go in. So he won't go in? I bet you he will go in. He went in. Then I put down a carpet. He also screamed. Went in.
One second, but how did you get involved with the sukkah?
I don't remember.
Steht in...
So how did you get? Before the Rebbe gave you to deal with the lulav, were you already giving the Rebbe food in the sukkah?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What was his thermos used to go to the Rebbe's house? How did that start? When did it start? From
Oh,
when
I forgot who got married. I think Nachman or somebody got married, so he gave it to me.
So what would you do?
Nachman who?
Suda.
What would you do?
I used to go to the house, and sometimes it was ready, and sometimes she opened the door and said, I was sorry. When the phone rings and you get on the phone, you get lost, come inside.
You would go into the Rebbe's house
Yeah.
and wait where?
In the
Foyer? Never went past the foyer?
yeah. In how about the living room?
So one second, you would go. What time would the Rebbe come to 770 generally?
All different times. 12 o'clock. 12
So when would you bring the thermos?
after he came. Sometimes I went early. Sometimes I used to meet him walking.
Why didn't the Rebbe used to walk?
Yeah,
And they didn't want, the Rebbe wasn't nice, the Rebbe to carry it himself.
right.
So what was in the thermos?
Tea.
With milk.
Milk I bought.
Tea and milk.
No, the milk I bought in the grocery.
There was no way to make hot water in 770?
There was nowhere.
A little hot, there's nowhere to heat it.
Why don't they get a
I
hot?
don't know. That's what. Maybe he wanted from his house.
So you would bring every day the tea, and how would the thermos get back?
Switch.
How would you get to the old one?
Grandma took it out.
So you walked, how many years did you do it?
Ah, a lot of years.
Until when? Lamed Ches?
Yeah.
You used to give it to Bachar once in a while.
Sometimes
Drucked in
Bachar
Detroit,
used
you
to
did it.
ask me.
To what? They want to have the schos to do it?
Drucked in Detroit.
So the first year, so then after the Rebbe benched, I wanted to give him for the tea and the cake and whatever. I covered it because all the plates and this, that, from the schach falls down. So the Rebbe said, ich bin gekommen jetzt, ich habe gesehen, es ist da eine große Otschere, eine große Line, bis Brooklyn Avenue, dort aber bemerkt, ältere Jiden, ich hätte mit Stamm haben sie nicht gegessen, sie fahren Esrik-Benchen, so dass die geben sie, keinem, Hebon Benchen, Esrik und Ruller, ihr könnt warten, dass da reinkommen zu mir später ein bisschen.
But then it was too late, because how long would the first years take to do?
No, I didn't do it the whole time, I stood 20 minutes, I haven't until mostly the old people went by.
And then you would stop and...
No, somebody took over. Some bad sometime.
No, but that was later. Who took over the early years?
I don't know.
So you wouldn't stay there the whole time?
No, how long did it take to prepare for the Rebbe?
Okay. How long did it take to do the Lulav? What year would the Rebbe come in the early years?
Yom Tov 10 after 8, Chalamoy 10 after 9.
Oh, it was 10 after? So he'd leave his house. And how long would it take the first years to do all the...
I always stopped in the middle, in the morning, when the Rebbe was almost up to Hallel.
Mm-hmm. Shmini used to come and get you and go, wow, I remember that. And then, Shmini is like a good today. The thermos, what year did you start doing the thermos?
I don't remember.
Before you married?
Yeah.
And you did it until the end?
Mm-hmm.
And the snow and the rain every day? Where would you bring...
It never snowed.
What?
It didn't snow, it didn't rain.
Where would you leave it, the thermos?
Between the two doors.
That's where you would pick it up from.
Yeah. And I used to bring the old one back.
You would leave it there. But when you bring it to somebody, who would you give it to?
Put it to Grona. And I bought milk and cake.
You should buy milk and cake? On whose account?
Chadikov, I don't know. I paid for it a lot of time.
Where was it?
With the cake?
From who did you buy it?
There used to be a bakery on Kingston and Carroll. No, what am I, Union.
Kingston,
The
yeah.
neighbor's name, I forgot the guy.
Where Yankelipska store was?
Yeah, near there.
So you would get it over there?
Yeah.
What would you ever eat? What kind of cake?
A marble cake, chocolate marble.
Like what you had for the Fabrengens? Okay, so that's what you bring.
Later, a Danish chocolate.
What would so the Rebbe would come, what, 10, 11, 12?
Yeah, 12,
What would he eat?
12:30.
When would he eat the Rebbe? Lunch?
He went home, in the winter he went home 4:45, and in the summer he went home 4:45.
4:45, and he would eat and come back to Meyer.
Yeah. And in the winter, in the summer he went home 5:45, 10 to 6.
And that's how it continued with the Lulav every year, like past that. So you don't remember what year you bought the new sukkah for the Rebbe.
I don't remember.
That was a famous day of milks and shoes, second day.
What's the story?
Oh, they had their...
You claim that the Rebbe ate milchiks the second day.
Yeah,
Who said he did it? Someone else did it.
We had in the sukkah a sink and an air conditioner.
I remember that. I used it for a couple of years. I built it.
Yeah.
And people say the Rebbe didn't eat milchiks on the second day.
Who says that?
What happened was that the people who used to set the table on the kikatz, and it was, so I said, the Rebbe's verbringen, what do you got to go up an hour and a half, 2 hours after davening?
Do you eat on the third floor?
Yeah.
On the second floor?
Second floor. So I said that these guys who set the table could gone out before Kesser also. Not too serious. And they set the table. Then we pulled up all the old people till you gathered them all together. And then
The Rebbe would wait until...
everybody's up. Till they called him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but first he didn't want the Rebbe to wait. So they went around to call all the old guys.
Who were the guys who ate there?
Shmuel Witten, Handel Lieberman, Rashad. So it depends which yontif. Shmuel Simpson.
Who decided who eats there?
I think Rothstein used to write in a note to the old lady.
And when she decided who gets to eat there?
Yeah,
And if she didn't like you, you couldn't go there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So they all came up, and then they banged on the Rebbe's door. She said, I can't go up yet because I ate something milchik, and it'll take another 20 minutes.
So how do you know though that he ate every year?
I don't know, I'm just telling you what happened one year. I didn't say what happened.
Okay. What did Rothstein do with the letters? What was the difference between... What was Rothstein?
Rothstein went every night for dictation from 7:30 till 8.
And what did...
Mandel went in twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays.
all the Rebbe's early Igris, who wrote them?
Rothstein.
So what year did Rothstein pass away?
And it stopped after that. And the end of the Chav, something.
Well, there was a bunch of Igrises.
Well, Mendel did it. And after that.
What was Quint's job?
He was a secretary.
What would he do?
I don't know, receipts,
Not a lot.
deposits.
Who would write the Shana Teva cards and the...
That was who typed in the names?
Yeah.
I think Sean Mendel Simpson.
What did Shalom Mendel Simpson
He
do?
did all the Mazel Tov letters.
So, but the long letters that the Rebbe was really Rothstein?
Yeah.
And later was Mendel.
Yeah.
And Chatikov, what did he do?
What do you mean? I don't know.
What?
Fight with the Rebbe about money.
What? He told the Rebbe not to spend so much?
Yeah.
The Chatikov fundraise?
No, I don't know.
Who gave the Rebbe the paycheck, whose salary?
Officially,
Yeah.
I think I had a call.
What kind of price what did he pay?
I don't know.
What happened that last year with the lulav? Everything worked the same. A couple of years, you told me twice the piton broke,
Yeah,
and one time the Rebbe told you he doesn't want to know who it was,
yeah.
and the other time. But when the piton broke, one year he didn't give out the esek anymore.
He told me to go to his house and bring. He didn't have any more assets. So he told me to go to the house and get it for the Rebbe.
And but he gave it out to people to use it.
Shana Rebbe.
Not what they
He said
did.
it's an Ishmael.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
When did he? What day did it break?
I think the first day on Tov.
What year?
Chavav.
And when did the second time it break?
I don't remember which year.
And what did he ever do then?
Then he had a lot of slogans.
So he gave another one right away.
Yeah.
And what happened that last year when the Rebbe stood the whole time? On base.
He
Normally he would open
the door.
They would go into the sukkah and make the bracha. And then he would normally open the door.
It took a few minutes and he opened up the door.
And what would he tell you generally?
I'm a nas lahazen.
Yeah.
I used to take it. But here I saw he was walking with Esek and Lula. So I asked him, Sie will etwas beiten zu das, Jens, he told me, no, man is behind it, wir stehen allein. So he asked me, wo steht mir? So we went there.
Should I bring that a chair a few times?
Once.
What,
One said, es ist schon spät, es ist schon Viertelzeller, was sie sein mit Davenen. Hat er aber gesagt, geige nicht mit Davenen. Then Shimshon Stack brought over a chair. She said, we cannot sitzen, alle stehen, hunderte Menschen stehen, er will sitzen.
What time they start Shachris?
A quarter to 10 after 3.
and they, you held a lulav then?
And I held the lulav the whole time.
And people
But the
make-
Rebbe was very not happy. The Rebbe stood in the corner, and I stood like over here, and then people bent down and snuck behind me. But the Rebbe noticed him. So I'm for this. He smiled to the Rebbe didn't look at him.
The Rebbe did not like the people skipping the line?
Yeah.
people were making the wrong brachas.
Yeah.
What did you ever think about people rolling in like 2 o'clock to bench?
People rolled in 3 also. You know what? After everything, he done Shachas, Musik, Mincha. When he went up to his room, he asked me, so noch da have to mention or something?
Why did they stop people like at 12 o'clock? Just stop people from going, tell everyone no, don't go.
When?
That first day, noon base.
Who said this? That?
I said, why didn't they? So people would not make the Rebbe stand. You know.
I don't know.
You don't know why they didn't stop them. Then what was the story with Schomberg when he said, I'm davening with, I daven with him, my brother.
Oh, my father went into the Rebbe. There was the story that the Rebbe sent a couple to my father for Shalom Bayis. And after a long time, a year and a half or so, Chadakov called him and he said that the Rebbe wants to see him this night. So he said, if the Rebbe wants, I'll come, but I have a chasna. So Chadakov called him back, Chas v'shalom, the Rebbe will not say, hot a chasna is in Tarov, darf again the next night. So he went in and he spoke to the Rebbe and he said he doesn't see no Oisvek mit darf's vergessen. So the Rebbe sat up straight and he said, "Ma gemacht a bracha m'shem malchus, wie kämen das zu brechen a bracha."
Didn't he say that you were there at the wedding? He asked him if he was at the wedding?
Oh yeah, no, I don't remember. Maybe he said that he was at the wedding because the guy used to down in my father's shul.
Mm-hmm. Said he made a bracha b'shem malchus. How does he get to Shombei? He says.
After everything was finished, he said, "Will a bracha pa meine Enikels on Leusbach for Siddische Kinder." It was June Shombei.
So what happened?
So he said, "Ich kenne dich." Mit dem Sachmal ben Chamayov zusammen. After that, I wasn't nervous. He used to pull the parechas, play a kid. He said, "Ich kenne dich." Mit dem Sachmal ben Chamayov.
So we used to play around over there?
Yeah, sort of.
Were there any other kids there?
No.
When did you start like never missing a minyan? When did that start?
I don't know. Always. After I got to 770.
What?
After I got to 770.
So you hardly missed minyanim? Used to be wild running in the street, missing taxis.
The suit, once you guys buying a suit, you left the suit in the middle.
He had to run.
You're buying your kids a suit, I think, before Yom Tov.
No, they didn't know what. This suit, that suit. So I said, I'll give you 3 minutes. I'm leaving. So in 3 minutes, they bought suits for everybody.
On the way to Bobby.
Okay.
But Bobby wasn't there.
Okay, bro.
See that story?
Okay, what happened when Yossi fell out of a car, right? Once?
Yeah.
What was that
I
story?
remember that one.
No, I don't know how the taxi door opened up. So I screamed. He got a picture from the Rebbe prize. And I was holding it, and I said, "Rebbe, help! Help!" And car stopped, and nothing happened, Baruch Hashem.
I remember that myself.
Yeah. I had gases as a child, and my stomach rolled into the Rebbe. There was a problem with the mezuzah. Do you remember that story?
No.
Yeah? Yeah, I remember that. As a child.
That's when the story of you and the Rebbe, especially.
His father and the doctors and the shots.
What was it?
My father, I don't know, he went to the doctor. He used to be nervous.
I sound like some of my kids, always not feeling well going to doctors.
Doctors. So he used to go every 2 weeks to the doctor. And he used to give him a shot. I don't know if it was water or this, but he gave him a shot. And you know, those days he used to take two buses to get to the doctor. Once he went, and you checked him, and he checked him again. He said, "Rabbi Harlig, you have extra heartbeats." He checked him again, and this, and then he said he called up a Dr. Chanov, and he said that my father, there's a Rav, he can't wait in the office with people, with women. He said that you should. What time do you start your office? Let's say it's at 10:30. So please come 10 o'clock, and I'll.
It's Dr. Shchinsky, isn't it?
No, Shchinsky called.
Yeah.
And he said, all right, this and this day. He came, and so he left the office. He wanted to take the buses. Shchinsky said no. He called a taxi, took him home to take him home. I think he paid for it. I don't remember. So then when he came home, he told my mother the story. They were very upset, and he wrote to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe answered him.
Why was he upset?
No, my mother, extra heartbeats
Oh.
and this.
Was that of Yom Tov,
her
no,
special, it was before Purim.
Mhm.
So the Rebbe told him, wie hat Zeit zu gehen zum Doktor? Sie nehmen die Test. Jetzt kommt Purim. A Rav ist vernommen mit Schlachmones, mit Megille, mit die alle Sachen. Und nachdem schleißt es ja im Kedem Achag. Sie doch noch mehr vernommen. Mechiras Chomes, sie da so viel Scheiles auf Pesach, das. Ich back doch Matze, lost the sofa for zweite Mal. Oh, he was so happy with the answer, but he was embarrassed. Here he did him a favor. Here he told him not to charge him money. Here he's coming a half an hour earlier. He didn't want to call. So I called him. So I told him the Rebbe said this, the Lubavitcher Rebbe this. That was that story.
And he never had any extra heartbeat? No more?
What?
He didn't? There wasn't that many heartbeats. What happened when the shul, they wanted him to move, he went into the Rebbe, right?
That's what he went to the right.
And what did the Rebbe tell him?
I think he told him, we can't take verlassen, though, isn't a Rav da so viel young.
So that's when he went.
Another story with
Cool. And a Schwarze stuck, how do you call it, a stick between his 2 feet, and he tripped him. He got up, somebody helped him to get up, and this. And he went to shul.
I think he put his foot between.
I think it was a stick. I don't remember.
Put in between them.
Yeah, no.
And Shine, he went home, he had a
It fell on
little
his face.
scrape on his foot.
Mhm.
It fell
So later that night, the phone rings, Chadakov. The Rebbe wants to know what happened exactly and how you feel.
Oh no, he said that
Yeah.
het is gebod met gaat ze wel.
Wait, I didn't finish the story. I didn't finish the story.
Yeah.
So then he told Chadakov that my mother is nervous. Maybe he should go.
He was also afraid to go.
What?
Okay, we're not arguing, yeah?
He should go a different way. So the Rebbe said, wie gegangen allemal, sollt ihr gehen denselben Weg. Ihr sollt nicht Meshana sein, der Weg wie ihr geht.
That's to continue to go.
Yeah.
The story you remember different?
He went into the Rebbe, and the Rebbe told him,
Yeah, the way-
the Rebbe told him once, "Ef's mein Bolle Baste geht mir rüber, ihr geht nicht bemerkt, wie ihr pflegt gehen."
How he used to walk down President Street?
Yeah.
How would he walk? Up Brooklyn?
Up Brooklyn to President, and President to...
Yeah, there was something with a raincoat once
true.
they told him.
He used to pass by the house, but it was before in Crown Street.
So maybe he walked up.
That's going home from shore.
He used to go to shul, he used to sit in the
Yeah, but
window.
he went always past the Rebbe's house, that's how he...
Right, but I'm just saying, but he used to go down Crown, and he used to bang in the window. You and Sean Ben Zaidi.
Uh-huh.
He used to go to Stram, he used to bang in the window.
With a thin raincoat, he
Right.
stopped him once out of Shabbos.
Except the Rebbe stop him, or?
Yeah, the Rebbe, he said, isn't there a Rav? We make this game Shabbos?
You
Because
remember?
it's not a real raincoat.
Are you sure about that story?
Yeah,
Who's winning the makeout?
my father. Nowadays, it's different than today. It was a very, very...
This big piece of plastic.
Yeah.
Where did he see him walking?
Walking, he was going to shul, the Rebbe was going to sunset.
How did Rish Chodesh Kislev? How did you start with that?
Oh, because the next year,
The first year was wild, right?
yeah.
And the next year, what happened?
Next year, we decided we got to do something with Chodesh Kislev. A big miracle happened.
Yeah, well,
That's how it started.
who was with you the first year?
A shul crowd held.
It was upstairs, no?
Yeah.
Or did it was downstairs?
Avram Ayom made Abdullah ben Kodesh LeKodesh. It was Motzei Shabbos.
Avram Meyer was a Chodesh guy. Who else?
Avram Meyer said once by Chodesh Kislev, was darf man machen, Droshes und das? Man darf sagen L'chaim und verbringen und tanzen die ganze Nacht.
So he was Mekusher.
No, but at the end the Rebbe was Meichel.
Why did you ever want him to go to Israel somewhere? Didn't he go? And you went to Mecca. Where did you go? You got a sitter from the Rebbe, right?
Toshin Tazayim.
Where did you go?
Where did I go?
On Mecca, do you remember?
Oh, I went to jail. To
What language do you all speak?
We went to Lakewood, these places.
Oh, you came back every night?
No, once we slept over a few nights, came back.
What year?
Tufshin Tezay.
That was one year you did Mecca Sukkos?
I did a lot. I was
Detroit.
in Detroit.
What year?
I don't remember.
With who?
With Gershon Mendel.
So you went one year with Geshem Mendel to Detroit.
Yeah.
Battle was there or was before Battle?
No.
Before.
Yeah.
And I went 1 year to Connecticut.
There.
I forgot already what it was.
What summers?
There's another story.
Oh. Yeah, that's not a Rebbe story, yeah?
Shomber used to get a lot of colds. So I was
Fever.
colds.
I wanted to take
so
out the
I
town.
went to the Rebbe. I mean, I was by the Rebbetzin. She asked me how the kids are. So
Why
I
would
said,
you, when you would pick up the coffee and this?
Yeah. So she said, I told her that Chomba has a lot of colds and he misses yeshiva. So the doctor said you should take out the tonsils. So she said that if the Eibishter B'Shafnatis, Mustamed has a
Purple.
purpose.
Nuts.
So then 2 days later I came back, habe geredet mit meinem Mann und er hat gesagt dieselbe Sache. Von Mutter ist nicht gedacht, aber Davis ist nicht beschaffen. Bestammt, als Mutter ist beschaffen, ist ein Seminar mit der haben.
See, but didn't you end up taking out the tonsils?
No, he didn't.
Is it for my counters?
My wife was a teacher, as you know, 40 years. One of the greatest teachers there ever was.
Uh-huh.
So from teaching, she got polyps. Polyps is geschwollen by the tonsils.
It's
by
a
the-
growth, no?
No.
And so she went to one doctor, another doctor, and they sent her to, who's that, Chazen? Horn. And the voice lessons, this. Then she went to the doctor, and she went to a doctor, I forgot his name, and he made an appointment.
His name was Dr. Finger.
Yeah.
I remember I drove you, I remember driving up to here.
So he went to take out tonsils.
No, the
There
polyps.
were polyps.
Mhm.
So she wrote into the Rebbe.
It's not,
Hey, no.
What?
it's not the full story.
She wrote into the Rebbe Brocha that she's gonna
Take away your hand away, yeah?
she's going to take out the tonsils this and this day,
Not the
the
tonsils.
polyps. So the Rebbe said it's in Leifa Yedid.
It's not, you're not telling the full story.
So she
You're
went,
not telling the full story.
Oh, but so you wanted to let her finish and then you'll add what you need to.
and so she went to Shtitzi, and she said she had a cold and she took antibiotics. She said you can't take
Do the surgery, yeah.
surgery if you just took antibiotics. So, you see, she just wrote in a bracha. The Rebbe said to her, you see, I said, like you did.
So
She said
Chashinsky
that she
was the Rafi you did?
Szynski. Then she went and she was looking for a doctor. She came to a doctor, and on the doctor's table, the Rebbe's picture was there. She said she went to him.
So much you fell away.
It was Schwarz. And I brought in the Milcha Kesuda.
How did you end up bringing the Milchik Yesod?
Because I used to take, I brought the thermos and this.
So the only time you'd bring the Rebbe food was,
Schwarz. There was cheesecake, little cheesecake.
you bring it from the
and milk.
Rebbetzon's house?
Got it.
What?
You brought it from the Rebbetzon's house?
Yeah. And I used to go into the room and put it out on the table, whatever.
Mm.
So the
Well,
Rebbe,
how did you get into the room?
I waited till when the Rebbe came out from davening.
Oh, so he would let you.
And so the Rebbe told me, das gehen rein in Merkes, so gedacht haben, kommen ein Brief vom Feller. Ich darf es haben sehr nötig. I went in there, and
Who?
And I said, the Rebbe wants the letter from Feller. So he told me, it's a yontif, he doesn't want to look through the mail. So I went back to the Rebbe and I told him, it's almost a yontif. Sag sie, als ich weiß, solche, das heint ist yontif. Ich will haben einen Brief in 5 Minuten.
So you found the letter?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
Was nice that they were small. Running away.
Then Then there was once...
Who told you it was Yontif? Groner or
yeah,
Kaddish?
Groner.
The Groner looked for it or he didn't?
Yeah, after I came out and told them that the Rebbe said, that's a Yontif. Then...
What happened with Shmuel?
No, I'm not going to say. All Tafshin Yitzayim.
There what?
Then there was once Erev Sukkos. The Rebbe came out. It was Sukkos, the first day and somebody went over to the Rebbe and he said he wrote in a settler, but somebody wasn't feeling good about it. That and this. So he said, Chabon geschrieben an Emperor. So Nistam da. So I went in and I said, he called the guy over. He said, das ist ein Yeshiva gegeben den Brief, sie gewinnen Erev Yontif. Bei mir ist gewinnen Erev Yontif. Ich habe gerade Zeit, zu zeichnen an Emperor, und du hast nicht gerade keine Zeit.
You went over to the Rebbe. How do you know this story?
I was standing there waiting for you to go in to get the esrog after davening.
So the Maski came to the Rebbe.
No, I called him that the Rebbe wants him.
Oh.
So he told him he didn't give him over the Emperor because it was Erev Yontif. So the Rebbe said, bei mir ist gewinnen Erev Yontif. Ich habe gerade Zeit, zu zeichnen an Emperor, und du hast nicht.
I was when the Rebbe told not to rush the Rebbe. So when was that? Oshana Rabba once, right?
Yeah.
What was the story? We're running out of time, yeah?
Yeah, I want to tell you quickly what
1 second, go.
Story.
continuation with that story that the Rebbe said to me.
1 second, just finish, tell me the story with Oshana Rabba.
It was Shana Rabba. I went into, after the Rebbe finished telling Lekech, I went into the Rebbe's sukkah and I pushed back the table, took out all the empty boxes, piled up all the tzedlach people gave him, and I prepared him 2 pieces of Lekech.
He was in the sukkah?
What?
The Rebbe was still in the sukkah then?
Yeah. And I prepared him 2 pieces of Lekech he wanted, and I poured him a Kass wine. Then he said, after gib a Ruf in Stub, zu meinem Balabaste, und frage, als ihr kein kommen essen zu des Yontif jetzt. So, ich kann essen zu des Yontif, noch nicht mit Daven in Minche, und noch nicht sozusagen, die alle Menschen, was haben noch nicht bekommen Lekech, sondern als sie sollen nicht teigen, ich gebe Lekech noch einmal. So I went, and I called up the house. So yes, the Rebbe can come and jetzt essen.
What time was it in the
Who
afternoon?
knows, like 4 or 5. I don't remember.
Okay, whatever.
She said, it's noch nicht great. She's saying, great, na halbe Stunde. So I went back to the Rebbe and I told him, sie told me, sag soll sich nicht heilen, wenn sie sagen, great, ich hinkommen.
You called the Rebbe directly?
Yeah. She said, oi was oi, it machen anders, it man daven in Mincha, aber soll man nicht machen Katumel, weil alle Menschen essen in der Sukke jetzt zu des Yontif und in Nacht noch hingehen, Nacht noch zurückkommen, noch geben lecker, die was noch nicht bekommen.
That's it. You went up there and you announced.
I announced that whenever Chofar Simon seiner verbringen,
Take off your
kommt der Rebbe gekommen in Arzus Abres, so the Rebbe turned to me and said, he should be said.
You were the one who started Rabbeinu. It was discovered like a few years.
It was discovered from a letter.
Yeah. So who made the story about it?
What was it myself during Tafshalam Ches you were upstairs in the with you and Shlomo Zarchi.
Also with the
In the Yichud room. So they were walking with the doctor.
It wasn't, it was Reb Shmuel's room there.
Yeah.
And so it was quiet when Pabling, suddenly I heard walking. So I picked out, so the Rebbe was walking up and down
With the
hall.
IV, huh?
With IV, with Rabbi Resnick. So,
You guys continue to ringing?
yeah.
Gives matzahs extra, the oldest something is
Oh?
What was it, sir?
When